Hey team, welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to be entering the exciting world of the menu system.
Crushing Defeat Media.
All right, let's get in the system configuration, the next big menu. You've got your choice between windowed, borderless windowed, and full screen. Windowed modes are great if you want to be able to switch back and forth between the game and something else, maybe Google, or you're watching YouTube videos while you're playing the game. I use that quite a bit for that. If I'm watching videos or listening to music, that type of thing. Full screen I've found right now, it's not always the case, but right now runs the best for recording and looks the best when I'm playing the game. So when I'm just playing the game or when I'm recording, I do keep it in full screen because it runs a little smoother for me. You can also set your resolution, monitor, refresh rate. You can see 2560, 1440. That's what my monitors are, and that's what I play the game at. So I set that there. Right now I've got the UI at 150%. You saw earlier I put it back down to 100%, which is where I play, but you can definitely set it larger or smaller depending on your taste. And then you've got gamma correction, which makes it the screen brighter or dimmer. I'm keeping that around 50 when I record. When I play, I keep it a little lower. Then you've got character lighting. How much light do you want around your character? And then this last one is pretty important, the frame rate. The best thing you can do is match your frame rate to your monitor's refresh rate. So you can see my monitor is 144, and normally I would either have this on don't cap the frames at all, or a 1-to-1 with my monitor. This is one of the things I change when I record. I get a smoother recording when I set it to 72. But other than that, you want to set it to what your monitor is, or whatever your system can handle, I guess. Try none. See if the game runs okay, and if not, then you can select one of the others. All right. Sound settings. This one is pretty cool to look through. Play music when mounted. So when you jump on your mount and you're flying around Eorzea or the First, you can have that music playing or not. Enable normal battle music. You can have that on or off. If you get tired of the normal battle music, then you can turn that off. You got city-state background music in residential areas. I keep that one off. And then play system sounds while waiting for duty finder. You've got some options there. Listening position. You can change where that sound is based. And then the next one is your volume settings, where you can change, obviously, which sounds are playing and which aren't. As you can see, right now I've got the background music off because I don't want that playing while I'm recording, but I do want the ambience of the game going in the background. So that's what that's for. Player effects volume, got all kinds of different effects here. One that's kind of fun to play with if you got a good speaker system is the equalizer. You can set it to bass boost if you want. I do a lot of that through my setup, so I just keep that on standard. But you got some different options here. The Logitech Pro also sounds pretty good if you've got that option. All right, if you go into the graphics settings, you can change the global settings here at the top, up or down, and this will affect everything below it in various ways. It's the easiest one to adjust to get the game to run the way you want it to run. So if it's running slow at all or sluggish, or you're getting a ton of lag, that type of thing, you might want to adjust this. Another thing to adjust is what we talked about earlier with the character effects. That can make a big difference on game performance. In fact, I might start there, see what that does. Then next, come here and disable rendering of objects when not visible, and use low detail models on different objects. So if your game is running kind of poopy at all, turn those two things on, turn off a bunch of the effects for other characters, see if that makes a difference. And if it doesn't, you can come back here and try to change the global settings, or you can dig into them individually. Obviously, a great one to start with that could make a big difference is the grass quality. All it does is make it so that the grass doesn't stick up out of the ground, and that can save quite a bit on performance. The game should figure out the rest of this pretty well on its own. So Just depends on what you got going on in your game. I'm done with this one. Under mouse settings, one of the ones that I look at is the mouse camera sensitivity. That's how quickly the camera can spin around using the mouse. So that's one you might want to adjust a little bit. Let me see if I can demonstrate this real quick. So I'm going to put it down to 0. And you can see the camera's moving real slow. Real slow. Now if I crank it up to 11 or 100, now it's insane. It's way too fast. I could not play like that. But if you're, you know, a twitchy player, game player, maybe that's what you like.
Oh my God!
I like it right in the middle. Not the best for recording. It's a little jerky. But for playing the game, it's great. You can change the cursor size. Check that out. Big hand. Hello. It's kind of, you actually still have to use the point. So I'm going to go back to normal on this. Or large. You can also do. Gamepad settings, you can enable the gamepad here. I've got it enabled even though I haven't used the gamepad, and you've got a few different options here. Stick sensitivity, which is going to be the same as your mouse camera sensitivity. So over your controller player, just a few little things here. One I would recommend is the calibration configuration, if you can do any of those to make sure that it's running right. No, that's dumb. So that's about it for the gamepad settings. You've got the dark or light theme that you can choose within the game. I like the dark theme, but you can see examples of it here in the window. That classic one's not too bad either, but I like the dark one. I like the screen to be too bright. This next one is kind of important. Other settings. The big one I want to talk about is the screenshot folder. So if you're on keyboard, maybe you know this, maybe you don't. If I hit print screen, it's going to save a screenshot of whatever's going on in the game. This folder is where that goes. So you can see it goes into My Games Final Fantasy under Documents. So that's where you can change that folder if you want it to go somewhere else. You've got auto away from keyboard settings. I've got mine set to 10 minutes, but you can make that longer or shorter to where that little icon appears above your head and you're shown as being away from keyboard. Then you've got character and object quantity display limits. So this is another one. If you've got issues with performance, you can turn this up or down. You can also have 30 open windows at once, I guess. That would be quite a bit. Like if we got inventory and character and, you know, all these different windows open. So cutscene audio, if you want to hear the original Japanese version of any of the cutscenes, you can change that here, or you can hear it in German or French, which might be fun. I've not changed that, but a way I guess you could use this is if you have one of the movie players. But right here I've got one of the cutscene players that you can get as a housing item, and this allows me to play any of the old cutscenes, and you could go in there and change that if you wanted to experience the original Japanese version, which could be kind of fun. Accessibility settings. So there's color filtering for folks with color blindness. Apologies. I don't suffer from that, so I'm not real sure how this works or what this means, but if that's something that is an opportunity for you, then you can make those changes in here for accessibility. Not a ton of accessibility options, but I think the most helpful ones are there. So that's system configuration. Those are the big ones in there. HUD layout. This one's a big one.